Hi, I'm Shelley Wood. You might know me from shelleywood.com. This is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this swimsuit, or it could be a leotard, which fits 28-inch dolls like this really big Barbie. And it works great as a ballerina's tutu or an ice skater's leotard. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download these 2 free printable patterns. There's a helpful link below this video on YouTube. Use the pattern to cut out the pieces shown here. Sew a dart for each top, bodice, front, and trim away excess fabric from the dart. Here's how it looks from another angle. Now you'll have 4 darted fronts. Lay a top front over a bottom front like you see me doing here. So that's the top front, and I'm going to line up the notches as you lay it over the bottom front. Stitch across the area where top and bottom meet. Make sure your dart seam is open when you do this. Do this for all 4 bodice fronts. Lay one front on top of another front, right sides facing. So here we have 2 fronts. I'm going to put right sides facing and lay one on top of the other. First pin and then stitch them together from the neckline to the crotch. Do this for both fronts and then open them up. When you open them, it's important that all 4 pieces come together in exactly the same spot in the middle. Now you have 2 fronts that look like this. Set one front on top of another with right sides facing. So again, you want the seams on the outside. And carefully pin the neck-to-crotch seam open before pinning the neckline, as you see here. Stitch along the neckline, keeping that center seam open on both sides of the garment. Clip the neckline. Clip, but do not invert it just yet. And you'll hear me say that over and over. Don't invert it yet. Pin and sew the leg seams. Now clip the leg seams on both sides. Do not invert the front just yet. Instead, set the front aside for a moment. Lay the back top over the back bottom, being careful to align not darts, they're really notches, and keep those right sides together, especially if you have a printed fabric. You want right sides together, you want the notches to line up. Stitch across the area where top and bottom meet. Please note that the top will overlap the bottom. That overlap is due to a little keyhole that we will see later. Stop sewing 2 centimeters from the overlap's edge. That's about 5/8 inch. Follow these same steps actually for all 4 backs. You'll have 4 pieces that look like this. Flip the tops up as shown in this clip. So you're going to have 4 of these that look like this. And see how there's an overlap? That's really key. Set one back on top of another back. Again, you want right sides together. And you'll do that twice. Sew from the edge of the strap at the top along the neckline and turning a corner at the overlapping area, and then creating another corner at the overlap's base. Now remember, you'll have 4 back sections, so you'll sew this seam twice, and I'm going to make it simple for you. For easy viewing, here are the stitches you're going to make in red, and then clip along the stitches as I've shown in blue. You might want to pause this to take a good look at that, so you can kind of, as you do your clips, you want it to kind of look like mine did. Once again, we're not quite ready to invert this garment just yet, so hang on. I know you want to invert it, but not yet. Sew around the leg area. Do this for both backs and then clip the seams. Now you have 2 backs that look like this, and a front that looks like the one on the top. Open up the front's strap and one of the back straps, and then you're going to join the 2 right sides together like you see me doing here. So once again, we're going to open up a back, we're going to open up one strap of the front, and then we're going to lay the front over the top of the back strap and join those 2 straps together. You're going to sew these straps to one another, and now your garment looks like this. Follow the same steps to attach that other back piece. So again, you open up the strap for the front, you open up the strap for the back, and then you lay them together with right sides facing, and sew across the top. Sew the straps together. Now your garment looks like this. Now you're ready to invert the garment. Press all seams on both the back and the front of the garment. But we still have a raw edge around the arm area. Turn the raw edges of the armholes inside and whip stitch to close each of them. I'm going to show you how I do that. So here's that raw edge. You're going to fold it inside itself and then whip stitch with your needle and thread all around the outside of that raw edge that you've turned in. If you need help with the whip stitch, I have a tutorial for that. Look in the links below this video on YouTube in the description for my whip stitch tutorial. We'll be using it again too. Now that both armholes have been closed, you do want to do this to both, your garment's going to look like this. Fold one of the backs against the front of the garment like this. Pin it from underarm to hip and sew where you've pinned. Make sure the thigh area matches up with no overhang, and make sure the bodice top seams match up. Fold the other back onto the front. Pin it just like you did the other one, and stitch it from the underarm to the hip like you did before. Now we'll sew the buttocks area together. So you're going to fold the garment in half, kind of backwards sideways. Pin both backs together from the crotch to 2 inches below the top's seam. So you're going to stop sewing 2 inches before the closure notch. That's about 4.5 centimeters below the closure notch. Now your garment looks like this. You've sewn it together, it looks like that. Join the front and back crotches, stitch across the crotch, now we're going to work with that keyhole area at the back of the garment, right under the closure. Push the raw fabric inside itself and whip stitch around the keyhole area. So again, I'm going to show you how I do that. Here's your raw fabric. You're going to push it inside that hole between the two layers, and then you're going to whip stitch around that to close it off. Whip stitch from the buttocks or lower back up to the closure flap on both sides. Now your garment looks like this. Here's the front view. Invert the whole swimsuit or leotard. Oh, it's so cute, and it really looks adorable on this doll. Add a couple of snaps on the back flap closure. Now you're ready to try the swimsuit on your doll. To turn it into a leotard with tulle skirting, knot some tulle around a hair elastic or a rubber band. YouTube has lots of tutorials on how to make one of these tutus. Slip this tulle skirting over your doll's leotard, and now she's ready to be in a ballet. Or she could go ice skating. If you want to make the sweater, I have a pattern for that on my website as well. And then she can go ice skating with one arm. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos and free patterns, please share them on your favorite social media platforms. It really helps my website grow if you spread the word. Goodbye.